everyone, it is Monday. Happy Monday. You know what that means? It is time to grind, or if you are an entrepreneur, it is time to keep grinding. Hope you all had a great weekend. Last weekend for me was spring break, and it was phenomenal. The first weekend of spring break, we went to Minneapolis, my boyfriend and I, and we ran a 10K, and we found this great little Airbnb. So a great little place in Airbnb, and it ended up being just like a tiny house. You guys have seen that show on HGTV, and the great thing about staying in a tiny house, because I absolutely love that show and have always said, I think I could live in one of those, because they make it so cute and so appealing, right? However, the great thing about me staying in one in Minneapolis this past break is that I've realized that there is no way I could manage to live in a tiny house. So, keep learning, right? I can check that off of the bucket list and know that it is not the right permanent residence for me. All right. Anyway, that was break. Hung out with my son, and then last night, Bill and I ended up going to a real estate wealth expo. And it was phenomenal. The expo itself was a lot of companies pitching their product, but they did end up having a couple of phenomenal speakers. I think I already said phenomenal once. I hate when I do that, but just awesome speakers. Before I get to the speakers, though, I want to tell you about this expo. This expo had several different kinds of products, which I was impressed with because it did say Real Estate Wealth Expo, but there were different types of products featured. There was a product on learning to sell better, so increasing your ability to sell by ensuring that you're addressing the customer the way your customer needs to be addressed. That was awesome. That was by Sherry Tree, was the presenter there. There was a presenter on the stock market and helping you learn how to use stocks, and of course he has a program, and I actually did sign up for that one, so I'm pretty excited because I don't know a lot about stocks, but as an entrepreneur, I'm all about multiple streams of income. So if I can make some money there or do some investing, I'm excited to learn about it. And then there was a product for real estate investing. And if you know me, you know that I'm a part of a large real estate investing community. We're nationwide, and I love the community I'm a part of. It was affordable, and the education I got was superior to anything I've seen on the market. And the ongoing support that I have every single day if I need it. I'm friends with everyone in our community on Facebook. We talk, we joke, but when it comes down to business and I need help or support, there is always someone there, and that support is invaluable. So I get a little frustrated when I see programs come in and offer 3-day boot camps, telling people that they'll walk out of this boot camp and be a great investor and make enough money to retire, and it's just frustrating because I know through the education that I've gotten that there is so much more to learn than 3 days. And there are so many things that can go wrong. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's just scary. I think those boot camps are great to figure out if it's something you want to do. You take it, you walk away from it and say, yeah, you know what, this sounds like for me, but I need a little more information. I've got to learn some more. So I think it's great that way, but it feels a little misleading to me to tell someone that they can go for 3 days and be an expert in real estate investing. So, hey, if you're interested in investing and you want to really learn how to do it well and do it right, and make sure that you're successful, or we'll do our best to help you get there. It's really on you. That's the thing about any of these programs, is success comes from you, not from us. So we give you the tools, it's what you do with them. But, we're a community, and that is just priceless. So anyway, that's my spiel. That was my only frustration. But let me get to the speakers on that event. The first speaker that just blew me away was Pitbull. And I don't know, I'm probably going to be rude here, but I really didn't think that much about him. I didn't know he had a story. I guess everyone has a story, but I didn't know he had such an inspiring story. But Pitbull was amazing. Like, the interview up there was completely irrelevant. She didn't even need to be there. He just mastered that stage and eloquently told his story about coming here from another country and, seeing kids selling drugs and, involved in gangs. And, he said what I always say is those kids are entrepreneurs. If we could just take them and teach them skill to do what they're doing with legal substances or skills or talents or whatever, if we could just take that entrepreneur ability and spirit and put it for good, we could change their lives. And I've said that all along. And he kind of said that's what he did. He saw all these bad things happen and decided to watch and learn from them. But then he put it into his music and his companies and his businesses. So gosh, props to him. If you ever have the opportunity to hear him speak, I highly recommend it. He was really, really good. I have a newfound respect for him. The other person that I was so honored, frankly, this next speaker is the reason I went, but it was Tony Robbins. And Tony I don't even have words for what he was. He was on fire. He was gregarious, and he had this presence on stage and in the audience like no person I have ever seen. He had this way of the audience knowing that he is spectacular and, a multimillionaire, maybe even more than that, I don't know, famous, well-known, a speaker around the world. But he had this way of enabling you to almost forget that, right? Don't get me wrong, he's in the audience. First of all, he's this millionaire who is famous all over the world, who is literally in the aisles of the room we were in. There were 7,000 people there, and he is walking around, he's talking to people, he's giving high fives, he's making eye contact. It's just amazing. And every time he moves, there's like 7 little men crawling across the ground, his security people, making sure that nobody gets too close or tries to do anything wrong. But, he just had this way of making you feel comfortable. And it was so impressive. But I remember once he was standing right in front of me talking. We were probably halfway back from the stage. And he was standing right in front of me talking. And he was like Paul Bunyan. Like, he's this great giant man. And I don't know if it was his presence or his stature, but it was incredible. His hands, he gave me a high five, and it was one of those awkward moments, like, are we going to fist bump? We're going to high five? I'm not sure what we're going to do, like an awkward first date moment. But anyway, we ended up kind of doing a combo, and he wrapped his giant hand. It was like a hand from God came down and wrapped itself around my hand, and amazing. He was just amazing. Just an incredible presence who spoke truth, spoke things I could relate to. And one of those things I wanted to share with you today, because it was, it was pretty profound. And not only profound, but I think it was something that most of us can relate to. I think most of us have had something in our lives that makes us angry, right? Like the marriage that didn't work out, or, the parent that wasn't the parent we wanted them to be, or the disease that invaded our lives, or, whatever. I think all of us have something. And what Tony talks about is that and I'm probably going to mess this up, so don't take this verbatim, go out and read his books and watch his shows because he's incredible. But he talked about how we have to be grateful for these situations. And I had a little bit of a hard time with that until he explained. And what he said was, we blame all the bad stuff on these things. Like, for my case, it was autism. Like, I hate autism. It's taken my son. It's taken away pleasure from our family. It's caused my son pain. It's caused our family suffering, on and on and on. But I also have to thank autism for the good things that it's done, right? It's done horrible things to my son, to my family, to, all aspects of our life. But I also have to thank it because it's done great things for our family and our life too, right? It's taught us unconditional love. It's taught us to love someone who has nothing to give us, right? My son has no language ability. He requires help and assistance for everything. He goes to a special school. When we're in public, he's in a wheelchair because his behavior is pretty rough, as well as his fine motor, or his gross motor. His stamina isn't great, so we use this wheelchair to help him. But when I really started thinking about what Tony was saying, he's so dead on, because autism has taught us those things. It's taught me to be a better person, right? I'm so much more tolerant of people than I used to be. I'm way more patient, which makes me a better teacher. It makes me a better administrator. I'm a better advocate because, let's face it, I'm constantly fighting for something for him, whether it be in the medical community or the educational community. It never stops. So he has taught me, autism has taught me so many wonderful things, and it's brought so many great things into our life and great people into our life. So Tony is absolutely right. And I never thought of that. I was too busy being angry to see the good things it brought me. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that in your life, because it really brought me some peace. It helped me to think about it in a different way, and it helped me to let go of some of the anger that I had. So that's your challenge for today. If there's anything that you're holding on to, that you're bitter about, that you're angry about, I want you to kind of turn that around, and I want you to look at that anger, that situation, and see how you should be grateful, or see what things you could be grateful about that came out of that situation. I guarantee you're going to feel a little bit different about it when you see the great things that it's done for you. You know what? Another thing Tony said was, the problem with most people is they think that they shouldn't have problems, and problems shape us. Like, that's what makes us who we are, is the challenges in life that we face. So embrace them, learn to find the good in them, and see what you can do to find positive aspects of the challenges that you face. So that's talk for today. This is Intentional Synergy. Check me out at intentionalsynergy.com. Find me on Twitter at Intent Synergy, and I'm on Facebook also. So look me up, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.